Did you get that, Kenny Bear?
I think we're here. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, a show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
This is the Buddies on Buddies show. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back, all 51 of you, or
no, we average at least mid 40s, sometimes in the 50s. So
oh, sorry, I was giving us too much credit.
Half
I
of those
noticed that
are you, one of them is me, and the rest give up after a few seconds and are just subscribed out of loyalty to either of us and our personal.
Yeah. I noticed our subscribers hit a wall back, I think, in November, I think. Now it's April. I don't think we've had a single new subscriber since then. I think we've capped out at like 46, I think.
Yeah, but neither of us are trying very hard.
No, never have, never will.
And we'll keep that going, so at least we're consistent. Kenny,
hey,
what is that background? That is not a wall of albums. What are we looking at here?
No, this is my new digs. It's Megan and I's new apartment. Well, it's her apartment, but I moved in basically. Now she has to put up with me all the time now. So, lucky her.
So when you say you moved in, basically, there's no agreement. You just kind of did your
no discussion. No, just I showed up with all my shit, and I'm saying I live here now, and that's about it.
That's good. Well, it's good to have your mom's basement finally.
Well, I did only live in my mom's basement for about 4 months there when I got divorced, so it wasn't a real. That was a transition. I had my own place for a good 3.5 years there, I think. And I think that's enough. That's enough taking care of myself. It's enough living on my own. I can't fucking do that shit. I'm only 40.
Moving to a rural area like in a coastal town at that, and working at a golf course in Long Beach, Washington, and living in your mom's basement after divorces. Is that more of an indie film or a sitcom?
I see it more as like a very dark German expressionist black and white film from like the 1920s, silent with just very overdone actors and stuff like that.
A lot of this.
Yeah. That's basically what my life resembles in my head if I was gonna put it on the screen.
Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna be better than the Fablemans.
Yeah. Did you see the Fablemans?
Funny story. I tried to watch it today. Got 5 minutes into it, and then I got a call from a friend, and I answered it and pressed pause, and I saw it's a 2.5-hour movie. I was like, I'm done with that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You don't even have time for the 2.5-hour movie. That's kind of strange because we're covering like a 3-hour plus movie this week.
I don't mind long movies, but when it's the Fablemans, I love Spielberg as much as anybody else my generation, but I don't care that his parents got a divorce. I don't give a shit that he was from Tucson and he was Jewish and
Phoenix, actually, I think,
He had what's that?
He was from Phoenix, I think, or our old stuff.
Scottsdale or something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Regardless, not interesting. He's a great director, but
well, that's too bad you didn't get to the high school section because some of that stuff I thought was so cliche and cornball and bad, and I'm surprised that it was like it was just a critics' darling and up for all the Oscars and stuff. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was fine. I just didn't think I thought people that are unfamiliar with Spielberg, which is probably a lot of people under 30 that really aren't that familiar with Spielberg these days. And I think they would just be wondering why this movie was made.
It's Hollywood clout. He's, and he's earned it, but it's got like 95% Rotten Tomatoes. Again, I only watched 5 minutes of it, so I can't judge it. But do you want to know what movie I jumped in? We're going off formula here, but we'll get to it. What movie I jumped in after that? I was like, well, I'll give this a try because I'm not watching Fablemans. And I got maybe 5 to 10 minutes where I was like, I can't stand this anymore. Wow. You're not going to guess, but Clerks 3.
I got about a minute into Clerks 3 before I turned it off. It had a really annoying pop song by some like alternative rock band that's been overplayed, and I had to turn it off.
It was some 51, wasn't it?
I don't know who it was. I think it was some newer than that. I think it was, but in the Clerks 2 had that kind of stuff with like Soul Asylum and stuff like that too. But Clerks 2 has not aged well at all. And I wanted to watch Clerks 3 because I've been reading this Kevin Smith book, and I didn't make it. I don't think I made it a minute before I bailed out of that one.
It was not a good movie. And then I was also Mary's in the Room. I was like, you don't know Clerks? Come on, big movie, the 90s. You'll love this.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, baby. Let me get.
Oh, was it the language of the black and white, or it just does not hold up? I haven't seen it forever.
The charm of Clerks itself still stands up, but the charm of it is it's a poorly made movie that's punching above its weight class. Clerks 3 is shot, looks great, produced, still the same shitty acting and the same stagnant narrative where it's just people talking.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up. His insights, he doesn't really have his finger on the pulse anymore. God love him, talk about a director who fell off a fucking cliff. But then it's to the point you go back and watch some of his older stuff. Like, I don't think he was ever good.
Good. Well,
it's good, but other than that, I don't think Dogma is that good of a movie.
Yeah,
He's fucking stupid and has no idea what sexuality means. I don't know. The whole fucking fuck him to death.
Well, I mean, he was a filmmaking hero of mine when I was a teenager, and in the '90s, the indie movement was huge, and that was part of almost a movie's commercial appeal, was that this is so indie. Like him and Robert Rodriguez having a $7,000 movie that was part of it's isn't this cool? They made it for nothing and it looks like shit. You
part of it we can do this, So
yeah, it's kind of a can do that. Yeah, we're rooting for it, and people actually sought out these kind of movies and stuff. Now people wouldn't bother with anything that doesn't look really good. But I've been reading a Kevin Smith book that I got from a local used bookstore here. Came out about 10 years ago lately. This book has talk about his movies falling off really hard and were they ever good? This book he put out, I think it's called Tough Shit. It's kind of like an autobiography. It has not aged well at all. He has one chapter devoted to how much he admires and respects Harvey Weinstein, the whole fucking chapter. And the next chapter is all about how much he hated working with Bruce Willis on Cop Out because Bruce Willis couldn't take direction and have trouble with his lines, which in light of his diagnosis, he's probably suffering from that back then. So this book, I'm sure he's deeply ashamed of.
Well, I still like Kevin Smith, but his movies suck. He can quit making movies, live as a geek.
Oh, you don't like Yoga Hosers?
Never bothered with Tusk.
No.
He lost me on Clerks 2. I can't even believe I put on Clerks 3. It's just the reviews were pretty good, and the buzz wasn't bad, and I was like, maybe there's something here. No, it's worse than Clerks. I think Clerks 2 was god awful.
I think it was Jersey Girl when I was like, this is so fucking bad. They're wait a minute, it's like Transformers 2. I love the first Transformers. I saw Transformers 2. I was like, wait a minute, does the first one suck? It might, because this is really fucking bad.
All right, we're jumping all over the place. We already went through what I've watched recently, or didn't watch, as it were.
Two movies I really
before we get into it, what movie are we reviewing this week?
We're going to be reviewing the
viewers.
Yeah, whatever. We're the 2022 movie. Well, RRR is what I refer to it as. Mm-hmm. Do you refer it as no,
because it's an RRR stand. They all stand for words. It's different depending on what region you're in. So yeah, it's RRR. Okay.
Yeah. RRR. What does the RRR stand for? Do you remember?
It was like revolution, riots, rectify, romance,
something.
They were just buzzwords. It's RRR. That's the name of the fucking movie. Mm-hmm. We're fine there.
It's an Indian or a Hindi or Bollywood movie.
Yeah, it's not Bollywood technically. It is Hindi. Yeah.
Hindi. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what you watched before we jump into RRR?
Sure. I watched that Megan movie, the killer little girl robot.
I haven't watched it, but I'm looking forward to it. Did you like it?
I did like it a lot. I thought it was a really well done B movie. A lot of fun. It had some decent jump scares and a surprising amount of laugh out loud moments. Intentionally, I'm fairly sure.
I hear it's more of a comedy than anything.
Yeah, I mean, but I kind of like that. I think a lot of horror movies take themselves way too seriously, and they're the same stupid shit you've seen a million times. So I always get annoyed with horror movies a lot when they act like they're doing something that hasn't been done 1,000 times before, and it's supposed to really get under my skin and freak me out. So I like it when they go for more intentional laughs, mostly.
Hey, have you seen the YouTube channel, The Making of Blank Was a Shit Show?
No, that sounds kind of interesting. It's behind the scenes stories. That might be kind of interesting.
They're 20 to 30 minutes long. He doesn't have a lot of videos. I'll send you some, but it's Making of Blank is a Shit Show. He did Exorcist, and that made me think of that because, of course, that was notoriously fucking nightmarish film set. But anyway, Talk about a director who took it fucking seriously.
Yeah, well, there's crazy William Freakin stories from the '70s where he actually would like just crash cars and like almost run people over and not really give. He's talked about that on podcasts recently, saying he regrets that though.
I'm sure he does. He had a live gun on set and would fire it off to keep the crew on edge.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And Alec Baldwin's getting sued for a prop gun going off. It's fucking a different time, man.
Well, yeah, the '70s directors that were such full of ego and they're kind of young. Like I heard, like Pierre Bogdanovich and Nickelodeon, he would direct on horseback. So everyone's just standing around and the director's just on a horse, just yelling at people.
That's
and cool. Like Michael Cimino on Heaven's Gate had this crazy big like Napoleon hat and a handgun that had blanks in it, and he would point at people and like do this, and yeah, I couldn't imagine in today's climate getting away with any of that shit.
No. Do you think he used that horse for interior scenes or just exterior?
Just bring it in like a bedroom scene, like yeah. What did you say to me down there?
All right, let's get into the movie. RRR. Kenny, what's the plot synopsis of RRR?
Oh gosh, well, it's British ruled. It's a historical movie, but not very historically accurate. They're British rule India. These two guys, one is kind of a more tribal guy, and other guy is kind of working within the British government. And they both kind of eventually team up to sort of start a rebellion, start a revolution. And they're based on two real historical guys, although I don't know if they were ever friends or ever met up, or even if anything about them in the movie is true. But there's a disclaimer before that in the movie that's saying like this is it's based on kind of real people, but this is all bullshit anyway. How was that?
We started, both of us really understand this history and culture very well. Yeah. So you're in good hands.
Well, when I saw the trailer, I was thinking to myself, I thought that Gandhi overthrew the British government with non-violent protest. Yeah, I wasn't guys flying through the air throwing tigers at British soldiers, but I could be wrong. I could have not got my history right there.
And also, we could be talking about two different things because I didn't know the difference between India, Bollywood, all that, and Hindi. Apparently, it's a huge country. I think it might even be a continent. I'm not even sure. So there's a lot I didn't know that I learned.
That. Well, it's like China, like there's Mandarin and Cantonese. Like there's basically two very different parts.
Don't get us started on the Chinese.
Okay.
Yikes. What did you think of RRR?
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Oh my God. Okay. If you're going to kibosh the entire thing, you want to talk about China? Let's talk about China. Go ahead.
But did you ask me about RRR? What are you going to say about China? Do you want to change the subject? Are we done reviewing RRR? Loved it. 5 stars at the end. What do you think about China? China sucks. China blows. Fuck communism. Capitalism's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's really working for us.
All right. Well, we fucked up. That's on us.
That's true. It gave us every option.
Yeah. We were born White Hills in America, and look at us. We just totally took our royal flush and just fucking pissed it away. Ha.
Yeah, I haven't had a day on this planet that hasn't been mostly leisure. So
yeah,
when I'm working, I really can't complain.
Not that was what people instructed me to do. I did it anyway. Look at me now.
Sorry, what did you think of our?
Oh, I loved it. Like I said, I thought it was super entertaining. I don't think I've ever actually watched a Hindi or Indian movie all the way through, because I heard they're long. They've got musical numbers, and I didn't know if I'd get the culture stuff. And but I fucking thought this one was amazing. I was entertained all the way through. I love the performances. I thought the action scenes were awesome. Pretty much thought it was kind of like a masterpiece. Like watching it, I loved it. How about you?
I loved it as well. Kind of surprised how much I loved. Not that because I only heard great things about it from people I respect, so I knew there was something to it. But even then, it reminded me of a really well done Marvel movie, like top tier Marvel. Kind of.
Yeah, I can see that.
All those boxes, and they are basically superheroes.
Right? Yeah.
Do you know why they have every single element in the movie? Music, comedy, drama, violence. Why every single element's thrown in?
Well, I imagine it's kind
It's
of
rhetorical,
like.
but
Well, I imagine it's kind of like what I've heard about like Hong Kong cinema back in the day was basically like a lot of the people that went to the movies were like peasants and they wanted to see every genre in one movie, like
yeah, I wouldn't say
action, comedy,
peasants.
musical.
I want to say peasants. Jesus.
Well, what would you refer to them as?
It's the rural
The
area.
trash.
The rural areas where they only go to see one movie a year, if that, so they have to
Okay.
have a little bit of everything. It's a big event.
Yeah.
And America's the same fucking way. That's why Transformer movies do well and
Yeah.
Marvel movies follow the same formula. They're not selling it to the coastal elites who are gonna go see every movie anyway and then start a
Yeah.
podcast about it, like you have to include kind of everything to appease the people who are only gonna see one movie a year.
Sure, but did you think the tone was all over the place?
Oh yeah.
You did. I didn't feel the tone was that all over the place. I thought it had a pretty
Like it
consistent
started
tone to
off
it.
with hyper violence and then they have like crazy and a lot of times they weren't funny to be funny, but a lot of times they were trying to be funny, and
Yeah.
then they'd have a giant musical number and you're like, what the fuck am I fucking watching? And then, so yeah, the tone was all over the fucking place.
I don't know. I think it had actually a pretty somehow consistent sound, even like a Paul Verhoeven or something movie where it has these crazy moments and it's like comedy, then a crazy action, and this and that and that, but it just seems all sort of consistent. It doesn't have like a really jarring like all of a sudden this thing just the whole thing's like thrown off.
And that's what the trick this movie pulled together was. It all felt in service of the actual film and story
Yeah.
it's telling, and the characters and the emotional stakes. It was all in service of that. So it never felt like let's pause the movie and do a fucking song and dance number. Whereas
Yeah, or there's like a
Hollywood
big gear
used to do
shift that
all
takes
the
me out of it.
time.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
I won't accept this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Whereas Hollywood back in the day, it'd be like a family drama and they'd stop and sing in the backyard. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, back to the movie. I will say, and when I saw this, I was really happy to talk about it because it has the biggest, the best buddy moment in any film I've ever seen. When they
Can I guess which
first
one it
meet,
is?
what's that?
Can I guess which one it is?
Yeah, you know what it is. Go ahead.
The bridge scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
They look
fucking
at
amazing.
each other. Nonverbal communication. He's making hand signals.
Uh-huh.
We're
Yeah.
mutual buddies. They do the whole fucking thing. They're walking underwater towards each other.
Mhm.
Fucking buddies, man.
Yeah.
Can't get buddier than that.
The buddy level of this movie is pretty fucking off the,
And
out
then
of this
it
world.
follows
Like,
that with a fucking long ass buddy montage where they're basically
Mhm.
falling in love with each other.
yeah.
It's
There's
fucking
no,
great.
I think you could argue that this movie might not be a comedy, even though it is pretty funny a lot. But I would say you cannot argue this is not a buddy movie. This is absolutely a fucking buddy movie,
And
not an action movie. Yeah.
you could argue if you want to be I don't want to say a jerk off, but like
Look, you want to be a fucking jerk off, you can argue whatever you want.
but I laughed out loud more in this movie than I have in like any of the comedies we watched, even though
Right.
it's intentionally funny all the time. But yeah, the buddy quota just outweighs everything, and the tip of the
Yeah.
balance is this is a buddy action comedy movie.
Yeah.
And the action was awesome as well. Anyway, what other thoughts you have, if any? 'Cause I have my
I think this is, really almost perfect, fucking movie. I really loved every minute of it. And Megan loved it too. She like really enjoyed it.
Mary. It was like Mary's favorite movie. She loved it as well.
Yeah, yeah. And but I will, if I have one criticism, it's one criticism that we brought up before on the show. CGI animals, man. It just they take me out of it almost every time. The tiger stuff and the opening and all the other animals they come across. It's cool, but it never works for. I never think that's a real animal. And what's hard for me though is that being an animal like lover is that I appreciate that there aren't actually animals being used in these films really anymore. Like they're not whipping a tiger to get in the shot and shit. But on the other hand, it also just takes me out of it. Like, no, I don't think that's a real thing at all.
Yeah, normally that would bother me because it's very noticeable right from the beginning. I think one of the opening sequences is him, or the second opening sequence, because the first one's fucking mad with him fighting the entire mob. But him running from the tiger and I think a bear, I don't even fucking remember.
Yeah.
But since it's fake right off the bat, and then later the movie's so silly, it doesn't take me out of it as much as when they're trying to play it dead serious, like Prey. We're like,
Yeah.
it's super serious. Oh, there's an animal.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cartoon. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. Well, like, it didn't derail the movie or anything, but if I have one criticism, it's that one. That's just overall all movies that do CGI animals. It's not. I'm just not trying to pick on RRR.
I think that my criticism is it's too long. I get it has to be 3 hours. The
Yeah,
first half is way more entertaining than the second half. Then it
yeah,
delves into melodrama far too much, and the second half
Mhm.
just started to drag for me. Even though I enjoyed the movie front to back, I'm like, okay, let's go here. Like the extended flashback to start the second half, like, do
yeah.
you really need all this backstory?
Hmm.
Then they throw in homeboys, the undercover cop, whatever's love interest, waiting for him, and all this shit. It's like, how is this not established until like fucking an hour and a half into your fucking movie if it's his main motivation? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think that you could have split this movie into two movies, like a Kill Bill thing, like when they wrap hands at the palace or whatever, and they start that surge. I think that could have been the ending of the first movie, and they could have started with like the backstory for the second movie. Could start because, like, that's an hour and a half about in. You could have broken up into two, but it didn't. It didn't drag. I didn't dislike the length. Didn't like wasn't painful like the Batman or even Avatar 2 was a little just like, okay, this is going on for fucking ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. Avatar 2 was also very long. And
Hmm.
they kind of remind me of each other because they're both long, they're both silly, they're made for the masses, but they're both
Hmm.
still great entertainment and great movies. I
Now, okay.
no, you go. You have something to say? Go ahead,
Well,
Bruce.
we
Say
said made for the masses. Like, I went through a Hong Kong like kung fu kick a couple years ago, watching like a lot of the '70s ones, and up through like the '90s. And then when I got to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is the most honored, probably kung fu movie ever, I kind of noticed that this one, even though it was in like Cantonese and made by an all Asian cast and an Asian director, it felt like it was made with Western audiences in mind.
it
And
was.
and that's what Michelle, even kind of said. You're like, so do you think they were thinking of Western audiences? Because this is so accessible, I felt, you know.
They could have been. I don't know. I'd imagine they're just trying to because it's very rare in Hollywood. I don't know how it works over there, but it's the
Mhm.
same writer director who has
Yeah,
control over every aspect of his film, at least everything I read about, to have control over something so massive.
right,
Are they thinking of Western audiences? Maybe. I doubt it. I'm sure they're just trying to appeal to the audience they have, and then
right.
we have something, and Netflix is like, "Oh, you have something. We want that something," But
Mhm.
maybe he had the foresight to look past that into a bigger audience.
Yeah,
Regardless, it worked out because
it worked out. It's like the number one. It was number one streamed movie in like 60 countries or something like that.
and it earned it. It's really good.
Hmm.
What about the now? As we both as we already established, you and I know a lot about this. It's kind of
Yeah,
I want to say our hobby. It's more of a passion. But how
right.
the British people were portrayed in this film.
I liked it. I like it. I love it when like the like Ip Man 2 or remember The Patriot with Mel Gibson when they're like the fucking Nazis from Come and See, like like they're putting people in churches and burning them and shit. Um, yeah, I don't know. Fuck them. I know the British people were probably
They didn't have
portrayed
what shit.
fairly, but
So Mary pointed out only the British men do shit. Aside from the antagonist woman, the queen or whatever
mhm,
she is, or whatever you call them. She was the only evil woman. Every other woman was like, "Oh, white men are so mean. Oh,
yeah.
oh my god."
Right, it's just the men being evil. Did you recognize her from the evil blonde lady from Indiana Jones and the Temple of, or
Uh,
in the Last
no,
Crusade?
we saw it later that was her. I think on the the stupid trailer YouTube videos. I was like, oh shit, that's
Yeah,
but good for her.
yeah.
Who's that?
That is Megan and Stan just getting back from a walk.
Hey Stan, what are your
Yeah.
stances on? I want to ask you a couple things. What are your
Mhm,
stances on the subtitles? Like we watched this dubbed,
mhm.
and I'm glad we did because I hear the director got pretty pissed off because of the subtitles for, because it's a region with a lot of different languages and shit. I guess he got frustrated with how they subtitled certain things. What is your stance on subtitles versus watching a movie dubbed?
Well, we did. I believe we watched it dubbed with subtitles. I pretty much always watch a movie with subtitles. I just like to do that. It's a habit I got into, like living in apartments, watching movies real late. You don't want to bother your neighbors, so actually, it's kind of weird when I go to a movie at a theater and there's no subtitles. I'm always just scrolling, reading. But yeah, as far as I think for a long time, directors didn't like the dubbing. They thought that, well, American audiences accept dubbing, but like most worldwide audiences didn't care about dubbing because that's how they saw movies for a long, long time, especially in Europe and stuff, when you have all these countries that are all speaking different languages right next to each other. So yeah, the dubbing's more distracting for me if I know the language. It's not isn't matching with what they're saying, or someone's voice isn't matching at all with how they look. He's freaking out. But he's breakdancing, I think. Good job, Stan. And so yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. How about you?
It depends on the movie. If I'm watching something like this, there's nothing wrong with a little dubbing action. It guarantees I will get my wife to watch it and me to watch it. Whereas if it's an auteur movie, if it's like an Ang Lee movie, I would want the subtitles on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd watch like a National Lampoon movie with subtitles on, or like just it's in some wacky comedy or something. But anyway, yeah, I don't really mind subtitles or the dubbing. Dubbing's more distracting to me if I'm trying to get serious to watch a movie. But like a kung fu movie or something like that, I don't mind dubbing at all. Or Godzilla movie, I don't mind dubbing at all.
Yeah. I have some notes. We watched this so long ago. Why was the castle at the end like some kind of munitions factory? Was that ever explained?
The end was an ammunition
It's
factory.
It's like full of fireworks and shit, and they just go break it, just light them all up, and it's like,
well, why did? Well, I think he was gonna give the guns back to the people. So that's why there was like ammunition and stuff, but they also wanted just fireworks and explosions because why not? Because that's an awesome ending.
They get rid of the antagonist way too easily. They show him like get hit by the truck, he jumps out, grabs the gun, and like makes a shot. Like this dude's a badass. This evil, colonist is a badass. And then at the end, he's like, you're done. You're easy. I was hoping for like a super shredder.
Yeah.
Where he goes,
put the oxygen tank in his mouth and shoot it, have him blow up like a big finish. More
yeah, you get it. See, you get it.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to ask you, did you hear about Jonathan Majors' domestic violence arrest? Your thoughts on that?
Jonathan Majors? No. Who's Jonathan Majors?
From Creed 3 and Ant-Man Quantum.
Oh, okay. He's like the Mr. T from the new.
Did you see Creed
movie?
Did you see?
No, I have not really hardly any. I didn't like Creed 2 that much. I'm not a big Creed movie fan really.
Well, it's my reviews in my letterbox, but yeah, he's this big star, and I guess domestic violence. What do you think of that?
Domestic violence. That doesn't look good on your sheet there, buddy. If you were trying to get parts and stuff. Maybe you took so many maybe got too pumped up for the Creed movie and took it home. Leave your work at home, man.
I mean, I don't like to project anything. We don't know what's going on in these people's personal lives.
Are you suggesting that she started it?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying.
Sounds like you're suggesting. It sounds like you're
apologizing. That's all I'm saying. Is we don't know all the details.
Okay. Wink, wink.
Do you have anything else to say about this movie? RRR?
No, as far as the rating, I think I have to give it 5 stars because it's really, it kicks some ass, man. And I really dug this one. I think this is easily my favorite movie of last year. I had no favorite movies of last year. I didn't really like you said, like The Fabelmans. I wasn't big on Top Gun 2 or, all the ones. So I was like, this is a really shitty year for movies. So I'm glad I have now like a number 1 official pick, even though it's about 4 months into the new year since I saw it. But yeah, how about you?
I loved it. I think it's a 4-star movie, 5-star buddy movie, 4-star buddy action comedy movie. So
yeah,
one of the better movies we watched on this. I would highly suggest it. I just feel stupid that I waited the better half of a year before we got to it, you know?
Well, yeah, it is funny how like how much shit I watch, but if it's like this is an amazing movie, 5 stars, maybe it's just because it is, you know, Hindi and it's 3 hours long and you feel like you got to be in the right mood to see it. It just doesn't seem like a, you know, but it's sad though that like a new Adam Sandler movie comes on, like I'll watch that. And I hate it and I'm over it, like, you know, as soon as I forget about it as soon as it's over.
Well, I mean, that's what movies are like a 3 hour runtime. The only reason I watched Fablemans is because it was 2.5 hours. I don't need a 2.5 hour Fablemans. If it was an hour and a half,
Right.
90 minutes, I would have watched it. And this movie, the only reason I haven't watched it, I kept putting on, I never turned it on, but I'd scroll by it. 3 hours. Fuck that
Mhm.
shit. I'm not
Yeah.
devoting 3 hours to some fucking movie.
Well, I kind of like that. Like now that I've seen, like I can feel like I've seen like a Hindi movie, which is like it is 3 hours, has a musical number. I feel like can say now that I've actually sat through a whole one, you know, and loved it. So that's also what I, you know, like about. It's kind of like when people say like, oh, I don't want to watch the good, bad, and the ugly because it's 3 hours. Like, well, yeah, it's 3 hours because it's the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, yeah. But it is one of those movies, once you're into it, you're like, you're glad it's as long as it is, because it's that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
So okay, so I know you had one movie in mind to watch for next
Yeah,
episode.
you don't want to do it.
But
So what movie do you want to watch?
okay, so we're talking about Kevin Smith, and we haven't done a Bruce Willis movie yet. I kind
I
of
don't
want
want
to
to
do.
watch it. I don't want to watch it. Nope.
You don't watch Cop Out? You refuse to do Cop Out? Why do you refuse to do Cop Out? Because it looks terrible?
No, because I've seen it before. I also worked in the industry when that script was
Uh-huh.
the script sucked. Me and my
Really?
fellow
It was
assistant
it was on a
level people-
blacklist.
Yeah, me and my fellow assistants at that time couldn't believe people gave a shit about the script. It was so bad.
It's called
what
A Couple
spurred
of
me to go,
Dicks,
we
right?
could do better than this. It's what kind of made me want to write Sunset Takedown.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Okay.
movie's hot. We can do better than this. Like the script sucks. The movie sucks.
You watched it though. I never even bothered
Yeah,
watching
well,
it.
I watched as much as I could. The movie's unwatchable, and I'm not sitting through it. So you're gonna have to pick something else.
Well, I guess I'll have to watch Cop Out by myself then. I guess you're copping out on
I
Cop
don't
Out.
even think. I don't even think that's an action movie. That's a comedy. There's not much action at all in that movie. Just because they live as cops, there's like next to no action. That movie.
No, Bruce Willis. It seems like it fits all the categories. Easy.
All right, fine. Then you enjoy it. And
Okay.
come and do the show yourself.
And
Or
this is
maybe,
the end of
how about we
this
do
is the
this?
end of the show.
How about we do this? You just watch it and I just interview you about it. I don't have to watch it. That's fine.
That works for me. Yeah. Do you want to do that next time? How about you watch a movie that you want to watch, and I'll interview that about you. We'll do a twofer because no
Okay.
one cares this one.
So we'll do mine when Dune 2 comes out.
You're gonna do Dune 2 as your buddy action comedy movie?
No, I'm joking. No, I'm not gonna watch Cop Out, but we can try that format if you want to watch it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get that.
I'm here with a real life human that sat through Cop Out 11 years later, even though the trailer looked bad. The movie, nothing about it looks good. Now I will say, like, nothing about it fucking looks good. I just want to say because I read about it.
I didn't get through it. I will remind you that, but yeah, the movie is unwatchable. So I would love to see you watch that.
Well, I like your insights because like he talks about in the book. Like I read the script. The script was amazing.
It was
very funny.
I can
And,
find the script. I'll send it to you. It's got
well, and it just so he says like the movie is nowhere near as good as like the script. So wow.
no, the script's not good. I'm sorry, it's not good.
Well, I didn't think it was gonna be good. I thought it was gonna be fucking terrible. But I'm surprised that you're just so like allergic. You know.
Well, it's because it was like a big fucking screenplay when like everybody. Did you guys read Cop Out? It was called The Two Dicks at that point.
Couple of dicks.
Couple of dicks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And it wasn't just me, it was everybody, all my contemporaries, peers, whatever you want to call them. Our bosses were like, you have to read Cop or Two Dicks. We don't read it, we'd be like, what the fuck? This is fucking stupid, not funny, garbage. I'm gonna find it for you and send it to you. And you can peruse it, watch the movie, and then we'll have ourselves a little Q&A about it.
I swear some of those, I had a little experience working at New Regency when scripts get hot in there. And I wonder if some of it is like everyone around me was agreeing that this script was a piece of shit, or this script was awesome, or this movie even that Fox was releasing, because New Regency was Fox, was good. I remember like when Idiocracy and Little Miss Sunshine came out at the same like around time. everybody was in agreement at like around the office that Idiocracy was like the worst piece of shit ever, and Little Miss Sunshine was just the most amazing movie they've ever seen. And I just think that like group think, or just you're not supposed to like think the wrong thing. That like I couldn't believe that everyone was hating on Idiocracy so much, because I think someone up the chain hated it, so that just trickled down, so everybody had to like hate it. And that might be the same thing with like when they love something that everyone secretly thinks sucks, but they just also have to say they love it.
No, it's very true. Sometimes a screenplay can just get legs, even if it's not very good. This A couple of Dicks wasn't the first feature that did that. And like went through CAA, they push it, or whatever agency had it at the
Mhm.
time, and they shotgun it out, talk big about it, and then
Mhm.
executives who don't have taste go, "Oh, this is really good. You read this? Did you?"
Yeah,
Like it's like fucking hell.
because no
Well,
one wants to be the guy that says this sucks. Like, are you guys
yeah.
crazy? Like, yeah.
And then the movie comes out, and it's
And everyone's like, what happened? Yeah.
Anywho, okay, so we'll do that. That'll be fun, and then I don't have to watch a movie, so that'll be nice.
Sweet. So everybody wins.
Yeah, everybody's. Also, I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, come up here. You and Carrie come up. Looking forward to that. It's gonna be a fun weekend.
We're gonna play some golf, hang out in the rain.
Hmm.
We're staying at your mom's house, which is fun.
Yes, my mom's beach house. Yeah, she's actually leaving for the weekend. It's like gonna be an old kegger, just like back in the day.
It's gonna be just like that. I'm looking forward to taking long romantic walks on the beach with Carrie.
Hmm.
Watch the sunrise, sip our coffee.
You watch the sunset because it sets in the west, not so much rise on the in the thing. But that's we'll get to
Well,
that.
hold on, it depends, on where the Earth axis is
It's actually
at that time.
the John Wayne movie, The Green Berets. At the very end, the sun sinks in the ocean. It's like this is in Vietnam. What like this?
Regardless, big romantic weekend with me and Carrie. So
Can't wait.
want you to be
Yeah.
a part of it.
It's gonna be great.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, you've been on a huge China kick. Did you really want to delve into that?
Oh yeah, I got some things to say about China. You better bet your ass I got some things to say about China.
Okay, we'll say one.
Say one thing.
Yeah, about
Uh,
China.
it was a lab leak. That's for